Welcome back, people. You're still on to Wake Up Nigeria. And yes, it is time for our nutrition segment. And today we will be talking about the shocking food facts. And to do justice to that is Odunayo Abdulai. She's a first-class graduate of pharmacy, an integrative nutrition coach, and the founder of Optimum Foodie. And talking about shocking food facts. Wow.
Good morning.
Good morning. We grew up with so many food facts, myths
And
about
rules.
food, yeah, and rules. and, you know, experiencing different stages even as we grew up, from being a young girl to growing up to being a wife to being a mother. Oh, motherhood. You have so many. Well, let's talk about the common ones.
Okay. I think one of the ones that still shock people the most is around beans. I remember very well when they were teaching us food classes, and they always put the beans right on that protein. And then, you know, I grew up and then I started doing this and I realized, oh, beans is actually more of carbs than protein. And it's very interesting. And it's always like very surprising when I say that. And that information is important for two reasons. Right? So for people that are trying to like lose weight, for example, they feel like, oh, I don't need to watch my portions of beans. Maybe it's beans now, it's protein, I'm all good. But it still has significant amount of calories as well. In fact, it has more than rice, right? But that doesn't mean it's not healthy.
Who would have thought, people? Who would have thought? Weight loss people, you're on this ship. Get on it.
It's not healthy, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, so a cup of white rice is, of cooked white rice, to be specific, please, cooked. Cooked white rice is 205 calories. For beans, it's 250. Now, that doesn't mean beans is bad, but you still just have to be careful with your portion. In terms of fiber, it's amazing. It's like the grain that has the highest fiber, so it is amazing in that sense. But you still just need to be careful. Also, for people who are diabetic, right? So you're trying to be careful with the amount of carbs that you're taking, but you need to know what contains carb for you to be careful. So if you feel like beans was 100% protein, you might not be as careful as you might have been, knowing that, okay, this thing actually can raise my blood sugar. So that's another reason why it's important, you know, that you're aware. And then we use beans for so many things. Besides proteins, it's in akara, it's in moi moi. So just know that it's a carb contribution.
Now let's move on to another food fact.
Another one that I think I need to share is the Basmati rice myth.
No!
Like,
no, you didn't.
Especially
you're crushing a lot of hearts right now.
Especially considering how expensive it is. And I know, like, a lot of people make that sacrifice because they're like, you know, it's my health. I'm going to pay, you know, it's like, God knows what, 5 times, 10 times the price of regular rice. But, like, calorie-wise, in terms of your blood sugar, it's pretty much the same.
With the regular rice.
With regular rice. The advantage that it does have is that it has a lower glycemic index. And what that means is that when you eat it, the way that your blood sugar rises is a little slower than with regular rice. But like in terms of the amount of carbs, all the same, it's the same. Calorie-wise, so for my weight loss people, it's the same. But the key basically to eating rice is eat your regular rice. You cannot afford basmati rice. It's not by force. Just make sure that you're having it with some kind of vegetable, whether that's in form of a balance or whether it's in form of a stir fry, a salad. But you know that there's something there to boost the fiber. Because rice, generally white rice, is very low on fiber. So you want to get that from something else when you bring that in.
Okay.
Another one that I have to mention is the juice trend.
You don't mean the natural fruits?
Yes.
Natural fruits?
Whether it's natural or whether it's
smoothies?
Cold pressed, whether it's... So I prefer smoothies to juices, right? And I'll explain. So when we take juices, so juices are basically, we're taking the liquid from the fruits, but we feel like, oh, it's natural, so we're all good. But then, see, fruit is sweet for a reason. No, that sweetness did not come from heaven.
I know.
That sweetness is still sugar, in as much as it is natural. And when we take it, it still has similar effects like regular sugar. If you take apple juice, if you take orange juice, and I mean, even if you squeezed it by yourself with your hand in your house, so you're sure that there's no added sugar. You know that this thing is as natural as it comes. Your blood sugar will still rise the same way as if you took regular sugar. Calorie-wise, in terms of like comparing it to soda, literally the same. Right? So when people take like a 500 ml, you can't be drinking it like water. Let me just put it like that, right? You can't be saying, oh, you know, water is boring, so I'm going to do something more healthy, and so I'm going to be drinking juices all day. right? Because there was this time that I had this client that was like, okay, you know what, Audrey, I want to start doing watermelon. Can I just be doing watermelon juice instead of water? And I'm like, have you started doing this thing you are just telling me? And he's like, yeah, the past 5 days or so. I'm like, how many bottles are you doing? And he's like, you can do like 5 to 6 bottles a day. And I'm like, you're just like that. He was adding very easily about 600 calories to the plan. And I'm like, that I did not add. Please. I know that it is natural. And I know it's what I'm like. I know it was like, but what do I dig it myself or I make it myself? And I'm like, I know. I'm not arguing that.
So in this case, you advise that we do smoothies instead because they contain what?
So with the smoothies, right, the fiber is in there. So it's more bulky.
Okay.
So the likelihood that, so like a 500 ml bottle of smoothie versus a 500 ml bottle of juice will have much less calories. Because yes, you have there's still calories in there obviously because it still has the juices. But because of the fiber, it's a bit more bulky. But generally speaking, I always encourage people as much as possible to eat whole.
Quickly, let's take one more fruit fact that you'd like us to know.
All right. One more that I think I need to share, and I think I'm not even going to tie this one directly to food, but it's regarding timing of when we eat. So there's this long-standing rule that once it's 7
p.m., we shouldn't eat dinner anymore.
I don't know who invented this thing because
I believed that bit for so long, and it really, I felt really ashamed when I found out that no, darling,
it is not. It's frustrating for a lot of people, especially if you live in like Lagos or you live in a busy city where a lot of people actually don't even get home by that time, and then you're telling them, oh, you have to stop eating by that time. And it's just no scientific basis to it. It's not, I don't know how it became a thing. If you eat past 7 p.m., no, it does not automatically store as fat. That's not how it works. If at the end of each day, you're eating the right amount of calories you're supposed to eat, your body will burn it. It needs it, actually. The only reason why it saves calories, why it stores, is because you are actually eating more than you need, basically. So that's it. If you eat the right amount, you're good. You can even eat carbs at night as well. My only rule is maximum about 2 hours before bed, just so that you don't have heartburn, you don't have reflux when you lie down. But not because it will store as fat. Okay, that rule is, I don't know where it came from, honestly.
All right. Thank you so much. I would actually really want to know about intermittent fasting.
No problem.
But we will talk about that when next you're on the show. But it's always such a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.